crafty friends. How are you? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to make up a bunch of cards using one pad of 6x6 pattern paper. I have a lot of pattern paper in my stash, and if you're a card crafter, you probably do too. And I love using things up. I don't like storing them. I love using them up and sending them on their way. So what I'm going to do is create 16 cards using 8 different card sketches or designs using a pattern paper from the Not Too Shabby Shop. This one really spoke to me. It's called Lemons and Lavender. So Teresa Russell designed this for the Not Too Shabby Shop, and I just love her pattern papers. There are a lot of beautiful pads at the Not Too Shabby Shop. This one has probably already sold out, but I encourage you to go check them out. They have a monthly pattern paper subscription club, which is a lot of fun. I'm also going to be using some beautiful confetti packs from the Not Too Shabby Shop. This pack is called Purple Iris, and I love it because there's a lot of different sizes included. And I really prefer confetti over sequins because I don't like the little hole in the middle that oozes glue once you stick it on your card project. And this second one is beautiful pink. It's called Glazed Cherry. There are a lot of beautiful packs of these confetti pieces at the Not Too Shabby Shop. To create my cards today, I'm also going to pull in a couple of cutting die sets from Spellbinders. These are 2 of my favorites. So this first one is called Be Bold Blooms. I use this one a lot. It pretty much just camps out at the side of my desk. I use it that often. And then this one is a lot of fun. It's just called Lemon Zest, and it has these beautiful lemons and leaves and little flowers in it. So I went ahead and cut out all of my pieces, a bunch of pieces, off camera so that I can just sit and create. I like to do it beforehand so that I can just have fun playing. So here they all are in my little silver heart confetti trays and die-cut trays. And I'm just going to keep them there at the top of my work mat. For my first card design, I'm using this beautiful piece of pattern paper. It just has a linen design printed on it. I love this neutral color. So that's going to be my main panel. I have my card sketch there on the left ready to go, and I'm going to be copying it pretty closely. I cut out a bunch of circles from the pack of pattern paper, and I'll just start putting those down on the card. I also used a faux stitch die to cut out this neutral rectangle panel. Just adds some fun detail to it. And these circles are all the same size, and I'm just going to slightly overlap them. This pattern paper, as are most of the pads from the Not Too Shabby Shop, are very heavyweight, and they have a beautiful sheen to it. It's just very special pattern paper, in my opinion. I had to pull up my last circle because I forgot to put the strip of paper down before it. So we'll use this cute purple gingham. I'm just trying to get that on straight. And then I'll use a little more glue to put this circle back down. I'll flip this over and cut off the overhang. Just using my long, sharp scissors for this. And now for the fun part. We're going to add some greenery first. And this I'm just gluing down flat. However, the flower I popped up with some little teeny foam squares. I really love the flowers from the Be Bold Blooms set. I've even seen this set at my local Hobby Lobby, but of course I will link it in my description box in case you want to check it out. I'm going to add 2 more smaller flowers and just pop them up with a single foam square. So let's add the centers to these flowers. I'm using another piece of the background paper, the linen-like paper for the center on the large one, and then little green centers for the other 2. I'll finish this off with a few of these purple confetti pieces. And I regret not buying the lemony yellow ones in the shop. There's some really pretty yellow ones there too. but that's all right. We'll just use what we have today. Now I can attach this to a top folding card base, just using more liquid glue. And I just use the barest skiff of glue on these. I'm not going to be putting any sentiments on my cards today. These are just going to be note cards to send out for any occasion. However, I can always add a sentiment later if I want. This would be a great gift set to send out to someone. And here is card number 2. I'm making up 2 of each design. I want to try and use up this pad completely. Now on to design number 2. This one's really simple. It just has a circle at the bottom corner. I'll trim off the overhang. The pattern paper is so pretty that you don't need to add a lot to it. You just got to let the pattern paper do the work for you. So I'm going to use my corner chomper to chomp all 4 of these corners. This panel is cut down a little bit smaller than an A2 sized card. And I used a 1/4 inch chomp on that. It's just a very soft corner rounding. So here's the first lemon. I used some Wild Honey Distress Oxide ink to give it a little bit of shading. And I'll use 3 more of the smaller flowers. The middle one I popped up with a foam square, but the other 2 I'm going to glue down flat. And the lemon is going to be popped up with foam adhesive as well. The centers are just going to be white. They'll coordinate well with the border around the card, which is going to be my white card base. And then next we'll put the lemon down. We'll just kind of tuck that in the curve of the flowers. I'm adding some more purple confetti pieces. So we'll glue this on the white card base. And I didn't chomp the corners of the white card base. I really like this look with just the panel with the softened corners. After this, I decided to bring in a leaf for the lemon. So I'm just going to trim one off here and glue this down flat next to the lemon. It just needed a little something more there. And that finishes off the card. Here's a close-up look. And here is the second card I made with this card sketch. However, for this one, I just used some flowers instead of a lemon, and I think that looks pretty too. That pink background with the lemons on top is so cute. I love that design. For the next 2 cards, I pulled out my wonky stitched dies, and I cut out 3 panels using 2 different sizes of these wonky stitches. So the bottom panel is just a craft panel that I pulled in from my own stash, of course. We'll put down another strip of pattern paper over the first rectangle. I'll flip this over and trim it off. And then the third rectangle will go on top. And again, I'm just gluing everything down flat. These will be nice and easy to send out into the mail. It's kind of hard to see the wonky stitch detail on these patterns, but in person, it looks really cute with this little detail. Okay, so I'm going to make a lavender sprig using the Be Bold Bloom set. So I used that die right there that I showed you for the lavender. And then for the stems, I used this particular die right here. They're both in the Be Bold Blooms set. And this was really fun to create. I love lavender. I have some out in my garden, and it's one of my favorite plants. A fun touch for these cards, too, if you're going to give them as a gift, the whole set as a gift, it might be fun to kind of just spray them with lavender essential oils to give them a scent. I think that would be really fun to do. I'm going to have to try that. But let's start attaching these different colors of cardstock lavender to the greenery. These are all Spellbinders cardstocks that I'm using. So there are 3 different colors of purple. The darkest is called Royal Amethyst. And then I have Purple Mist for the lightest. And the midtone is called Lilac Blossom. But I love that the die cuts them out, curving different ways, so they don't all look the same. Isn't that beautiful? So this is going to be the star of the show for this card. I'll just add little dabs of glue behind it. I'm not completely gluing it down flat. I like to have a little bit of lift and movement to this sprig of lavender. So the tops of the lavender flowers will be kind of sticking up. I'm going to adhere a bow using a glue dot, as well as a little bit of liquid glue just for good measures. And then I have a twine bow. I'll just pop that in place there. So let's glue this on another white card base. It will have a white border around it. And I added a few sequins, and here it is all done. I love the look of that lavender. It's so much fun. And then here is the second card I made using this card sketch. My next two cards are going to be landscape orientation. I just love this little sketch here. I find all of my sketches on Pinterest and then I just print them out so that you can see them as well. So I'm using a piece of alabaster cardstock to add my elements to. For the top, I'm cutting out a fishtail banner. I just cut a slit down the middle and then I'll bring the corners up to meet the slit and it cuts out just the perfect little banner. I'm going to glue this down flat as well. And then I can just trim off the overhang. I'm going to use a yellow flower and more of the Wild Honey Distress Oxide ink to give it a little additional color. The leaves I'm going to glue down flat. And then the flower I popped up again with some more foam squares. But again, these are just very fun and simple designs that are very easy to add a sentiment to if you want to do that later on. I'll add a center to this card using some pink cardstock that I ink blended on a darker pink, just to give it a little roundness. And then I just glued my sequins down, so I'm adding the glue to the card base so I don't mess up my sequins. And here it is all done. And here is the second card I made with this design. So cute. I just love the complementary colors of purple and yellow. Moving on to the next card sketch. I'm going to use this cute green dotted pattern. And I'm going to attach this to the white card base right away because I'm going to put down this diagonal stripe of paper. Just add a little bit of glue to that. And make sure it comes off of both edges. And now for more rectangles. When you use card sketches, they usually require a lot of matting and layers, which is a great way to showcase your pattern paper. I'm using another lavender sprig for this card, as well as a lemon this time. So I'm adding some, and I believe I used mustard seed on this lemon. Just add a little bit of dimension and color. And then I'll use these leaves. I'm going to cut them down just a bit. I've also seen this set at Hobby Lobby, but again, I'll link it below if you're interested. There's nothing cuter than lemons and lavender, and when I saw this pattern paper that included both, I just had to get it. It's so cute. So again, I'm just putting little dots of glue behind the lavender. And the lemons I'm going to glue down flat as well. I was debating whether to put something behind the holes on the lemon. But then I just decided to let the pattern paper kind of show through. The holes on the lemon are so small anyway. And here it is all done. Isn't that cute with the lemons and the lavender together? I added another thin burlap bow. And here's the second card I made with this design. I think I'm going to go back and add a little bit of shading on that lemon, however. So moving right along, I'm going to use another piece of pattern paper on top of a piece of fern cardstock. I like how the fern green coordinates really well with this piece of pattern paper. Next, I'll add a strip of purple pattern paper. On the back of this piece, there were a few cutouts, and I did save a few, but I really loved the look of this purple, so I wanted to use that on this card. And now for a large circle. This will be going off of the side of the card. And then I can just trim off the excess. This is going to be another lemon card, so I'm adding some, this one is mustard seed distress oxide ink to the sides of these lemons. And then everything is going to be glued down flat. There's a slit at the top of each of these lemons, and I just inserted the stem of the leaf in that. It looks so cute that way. This one I'll kind of tuck on top of this leaf. There we go. I'll add a few white lemon flower buds on this, just to add a pop of color to break up all of that yellow and green. And then one little yellow flower. Now we can attach this to the white card base. And I do add a few purple confetti pieces to this. And here it is all done. Sometimes it's just fun to create flat cards that are easy to mail out. And here is the second card I created using this design. For my next card, I cut up the top page to the pattern paper pad. It was so cute because it had all of these strips of pattern paper. So it shows all the patterns in the pack. And I just cut it down so that I could use a piece of this on my card. I'll put a seam piece on top of that, just to kind of hide the letters that you can still see there. And then we'll put our circle above that. I love it when you can even use the front page of your pattern paper packs. I'm using a bunch of the cut aparts on this card, and I already fussy cut around them. These I popped up with some foam strips, and I'll just trim this one down just a little bit and pull off the release paper and tuck them behind this cute little lemon trio, which I popped up with foam squares as well. This pack of pattern paper came with 2 of each design, which was really nice. So there were 2 pages of the cut aparts, and on one of the pages I actually cut them all apart and used them, and on the flip side was that pretty purple paper that I used earlier. And here it is all done. Here is the second card I made with this design. However, this time I used flowers in the circle instead of lemons. And now for the last 2 cards, I'm using this beautiful piece of pattern paper that has the large lemons and floral bouquet. I cut it in half so that each piece measures 3 by 6. And now I'm going to use my small scissors to fussy cut around these. I'm cutting a border around this, but it's really nice when you can cut in as much detail as possible. Just makes it look that much nicer. So I'm kind of going around each and every little bud and cutting down into the spaces between the sprigs of lavender and such. And I'll do that to the second piece as well. And here they are, both of them cut out. This is kind of a 2-for-1. So I'm going to round 2 of the edges, and I'll round the card base as well. Both of the right sides I will round, or chomp, with my corner chomper. And this is a 1/2 inch corner chomp. This just adds a fun touch to the card. Next, we'll put down a strip of pattern paper on the left. I want this to be the same height as this piece of design paper. So I cut off the excess, and now I can glue this down onto the card base. The lemon floral bouquet, I'm going to glue down flat, but I'm going to butt it up against the edge of the purple stripe of paper. You could pop this up with foam strips if you wanted, and that would look really pretty too, I think. And then I was going to stop there, but I decided to add one more purple flower to this bouquet. I'm using some Villainous Potion to add color to this, or add a little deeper color of purple to this, as well as another leaf. And then the flower I popped up with some foam squares. This simple little addition just kind of bumped up the card design a notch. I really love how this one turned out. The center of this flower is cut from the green polka dot pattern paper. That looks so cute. And I added a few confetti pieces to this. So let's put together the second design. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to chomp the two right edges as well as the card base. However, this time I added some texture to the card using a Spellbinders embossing folder of the month. This one is called Sketched Floral, but it just adds a pretty touch as well as more interest to the card. I'll glue this down flat. And this time I forgot to put the strip of paper down first. I'm just going to allow it to go to the edge of the card base. And next we'll glue down the lemon flower bouquet. And then we'll add another flower, this time a yellow one, to the bottom corner of this card. I used a little bit of Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink on the leaf and more of the mustard seed on the flower. I'll use a purple center to this flower. And here it is, all done. This time I just added sequins on the lemon, and I think it looks so cute. And here they both are. And this completes my 16 cards using one pad of pattern paper. I had so much fun putting these together. These are the little bits and bobs I have left. And I'm not going to throw these away. I am going to keep all of these little pieces. They're so cute, and I'm sure I can use them to die cut flowers or other elements for cards, as well as all of these strips of paper. I could create a cute striped card using these pieces. So I'm going to save these in one of my favorite things from Pink and Maine. They have these great 7x7 storage pockets. I use these for my pattern paper packs that are kind of falling apart, or that I've pulled apart and they're all loose. And these are great because they're just going to keep them all together. So all of the links to these products are listed in the description box if you're interested in checking these out. So I'm going to try to use up more of my pads of 6x6 pattern paper. And like I said, the beautiful designs on these do a lot of the work for you. They are pretty fast and easy to create and a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you were inspired. Have a wonderful day. Bye.